What's good, my people? Welcome into Buckets, Action Network's daily NBA betting podcast. We're in the workshop Wednesday, NBA slate, so you know who's with me. J Money is money. AC, the analytics capper. AC, the analytics capper, is off today. He's hanging out with the kids for spring break. We are presented by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Go download the Action Network app. NFL free agency, baseball, college basketball, Stuckey and the guys have been pouring tons of content into the app. Go check it out. Go subscribe to the Action Network YouTube page as well. If you listen to this podcast, Buckets Daily, go watch the video. Go check out that. You can see the facial expressions that me and Jay give off on the daily. We always have a good time. All right, you know the deal. We give the play, we give the cap, we get you guys out of here in a hurry. J Money is money. Give me your best bet for the Wednesday NBA slate.
Give me the Lakers -1.
I'm going to go with the Miami Heat first half +2. As we record, this number is not out. It should be right around +2, +1.5. I like both, but we'll call it +2. Miami Heat in the first half versus the Denver Nuggets. All right, J Money is money. Los Angeles Lakers laying the 1, coming off a nice little day off. Why are you backing the Lakers here?
Yeah, they're coming off 2 days off as well, and they've lost all 3 matchups versus the Sacramento Kings. So first I want to go to the Lakers side because lately they have been playing a lot better basketball. They did just play 5 straight games at the house, but I do feel like that they're going to be able to take it on the road in this one. They've lost 4 straight matchups versus the Kings. They've lost 7 of the last 8 matchups versus the Kings. This is an absolute must-win spot for the Lakers here. That doesn't mean that they're going to win, but it does mean that I won't regret this play regardless. This is a big spot for standings as well. The Lakers currently sit at number 9. This is a big game for them to leap a whole game up on the standings. If they give the Kings a loss and get a win, then that gives them a 1-game jump in the standings there. Obviously, you don't want to be in the play-in tournament if you don't absolutely have to. This team just lost to the Kings as well. They led by 17 points in the first quarter, so they've shown that they could be up big by this team. And then the Kings absolutely just smoked them, just smacked them in the mouth. This was a few days ago as well. This was exactly 1 week ago on March 6th when they lost by 10 points at the house. And I think the Lakers, obviously, with some revenge in this one, obviously they're slowly but surely getting a little bit healthier, coming off 2 great wins versus the Bucks and the Wolves as well. Like the game versus the Wolves was going up against a great defense as well, man. So I feel like they had 6 straight home games there, but this is simply plain and simple. This is a big spot for the Lakers here. You see the beat writers talking about it as well. This is damn near a must-win spot for the Lakers here if they want to try to get out of play-in tournament. Lost all 3 matchups this year, so I'll always feel comfortable taking that triple revenge spot. And the Kings hadn't been great on back-to-backs as well. This team is 3-7 against the spread with no rest, my guys, and that's what they're coming off now. They're playing a big game versus the Bucks. Like they're probably going to beat the Bucks. Sean, they had lost 16 straight matchups to the Bucks. That's like peak motivation spot right there. You're putting everything into that game, and I think they might have a huge letdown here. I know that they play well at the house, but they will not be lighting the fucking beam tonight. Give me the Lakers -1.
Yeah, the offense is rolling against the Milwaukee Bucks, who, we thought turned a little corner there. But, yeah, they're absolutely throttling the Bucks as we record this right now on Tuesday night, heading into Wednesday. I agree with you, Jay. Look, the West is thick, as thick as it gets. And you need to start stacking W's, and you need to start stacking W's ASAP. Now, if you can catch a team that you need to catch in the standings coming off a back-to-back, and you get those guys and you have a chance coming off 2 days rest to play them on a back-to-back, you got to get the W. I feel like the number's too short here. I feel like the Lakers should take care of business. I agree with you 100% with the revenge without them getting a W against the Kings this year. It's time to start stacking W's right now. Phoenix knows that. You saw them come back the other night versus the Cavs. You see Sacramento beating up on Milwaukee. All these teams are trying to get rolling right now. They got to try to finish and get out of that play-in situation. All right, let's go down to Miami. I'm going to take the Heat in the first half, +2, we'll call it. I'm going to jump in front of the train, Jay Money. The Denver Nuggets have been absolutely rolling. The market is white hot on the Denver Nuggets. In 10 games post-All-Star break, 7-3 against the spread, 9-1 straight up. 4th best in net rating at +11. Nikola Jokic has 6 triple-doubles in those 10 games. 26, 14 boards, 11 assists essentially over that 10-game stretch. Now, Nuggets, right now, 27-6 at home, 18-14 on the road. I was looking at some historical stuff, and last year they were just as good at home, but on the road they were 19-22, right around this same point. So they've improved on the road this year. They've been playing really, really good ball, but I still think we're at the very top of the market here on the Denver Nuggets. I'm going to sell a little bit as everyone's all over them. Since the break, second in offensive rating, ninth in defensive rating. But let's talk about the spot overall, because that's exactly why I'm going to the Miami Heat in the first half here. Heat have lost 3 straight, and they're coming off a horrendous loss to the Wizards. We talk about it all the time. That first game back off the road trip is always a game you want to avoid. We just saw it with the Miami Heat losing against the Wizards. We just saw it with the Chicago Bulls playing the Dallas Mavericks. The Bulls were out on the West Coast getting busy, beating teams, getting W's they probably shouldn't have been getting. They get home off the road trip and they're down. They blink and they're down 30 in the first quarter against the Dallas Mavericks. So that spot with guys getting home is a spot you want to avoid. The Miami Heat are now in a spot where they lost that game already. It's a bad loss to the Wizards. Now it's a really good bounce back spot where I expect max effort from the Miami Heat. Injury report, Jimmy Butler is on it, but it says he's probable as we record this Tuesday night. Nuggets report is clean. Now, we know that the Denver Nuggets, Jay Money, have been cooking as of late, and they've been playing some tough guys, but damn near all these games have been in Denver at home where you're at, where they take care of business. This will be only their 4th road game since Valentine's Day for the Denver Nuggets, and all 3 of those other games have been West Coast games. It was LA for the Lakers, it was Portland for the Blazers, and it was San Francisco for the Warriors. So not a lot of travel. This time we're going all the way down to Miami. Let's talk about the pace. Both teams terribly slow. 27th and 28th in the NBA. They slow the game down. They want to play slow. That's where they're comfortable. And in a slow, less possession game, I like having a couple points in my back pocket, especially in the first half. I think all this stuff matches up nicely for a bounce back spot for the Miami Heat. Let's talk about that previous matchup. A couple of weeks ago, these teams played on February 29th. Nuggets won the first half by 5 and won the game by 6. But it was extremely low scoring, 103-97. And Michael Porter went crazy. He had 30 points, was cooking. As long as the Heat can avoid MPJ or Jamal Murray going crazy on top of Jokic being solid, I like the spot here for the Miami Heat to cash in the first half. Something to keep an eye on. Jokic's assist numbers against the Heat have been pretty low. Now, this goes into the finals. The finals and the playoffs are a completely different beast. But in that last game on February 29th, Jokic had 7 assists. And in the finals, 3 out of those 5 games, he only had 4 assists. Food for thought, something, nothing, whatever. Either way, I think this all sets up for the Miami Heat to have a really good first half. I'll take the plus couple points in that matchup. J Money is money. How you feeling about the Miami Heat first half +2?
Well, first off, I'm not going to be the one to talk you off. And since we're going to the beach, I thought that I put my shades on. You see what I'm saying? I thought that I put my shades on, man. They kind of like some goggles, but I like these glasses, man. They give me luck as well. I'm not going to be the one to talk you off. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to go official with this play, but I do like the Heat here. People know that I have like this alias of Revenge Game J, something that I started, and we cashed it tonight with the Knicks as well. And I think this one's going to cash as well. This is a big spot for the Miami Heat. Now, first, I want to give the Nuggets their credit. This is probably one of the best top 5, best starting 5 teams in the league here. I mean, this team absolutely balled. I was on the Heat in the last game in Denver as well. I took the early line at +5.5, and then I put a little some on the late line as well, +6.5, which cash. They should have lost that game by 2 or 4 points. It was a really close game. Terry Rozier had a couple turnovers like in the last minute of that game, man. So they should have covered that first one. This was in Denver as well. Now you got the Heat back at the house. They're coming off of a horrible loss. They were laying double digits, laying 11.5 points. They lost versus the Washington Wizards. They've lost 3 straight games. They're in a spot where they're in the play-in tournament right now as well. Remember, the Heat were just playing really good basketball. They had won 6 of 7 before this 3-game losing streak, which the first couple games versus Dallas and versus OKC were good losses. The game versus Wizards, that's got to have them riled up. They got to be pissed the fuck off coming off their loss versus the Wizards. I mean, like, what are we doing here? They were down 10, Sean, with like a minute and 30 seconds left, went on an 8-0 run, and then Duncan Robinson had 2 shots at 3 to win the game, and he missed both of them. I know that the Heat are pissed off here. They've had a couple days off of rest as well. You got got the Nuggets traveling from Denver to Miami with only 1 day of rest. They basically came off a game where they just had to play a game twice, Sean. They were down by 20 points in the first half versus the Toronto Raptors, came all the way back to win that game. That's almost like having to play 2 games out there because you get ready for the game, then you get smacked up, then you got to get up again like, all right, come on, let's do this, guys. So they almost just had to win 2 games. They're red hot, smoking hot right now. This is a total heat spot right here. I'd be honest. I'd be surprised if they lost this game. And it's a little bit better for the finals revenge in this one because they're at the house. They have the crowd behind them. They're probably going to get a few more calls here at the house. But I know that the Heat are pissed off. I think you're doing right with going with the first half just in case the Nuggets do end up turning things on in the full game. But this is a Heat first half and full game spot, in my opinion. It's always super scary going up against the Nuggets, but I like how you're isolating the first 24 minutes for the Heat to come out absolutely pissed off. I think they have the lead at the break in this one, and they might just not look back.
Yeah, we've seen a couple games too. Denver come out, kind of play with their food a little bit, relax, and then say, okay, let's go ahead and close these boys out. And they've done that on multiple occasions. Now, if they want to do that in Miami, that's cool with me because we got the first half ticket in our pocket. Let's see how the boys make out. Any other, since it's just me and you, J Money, anything else, any other thoughts? Now, I'm not telling you to give out an official or anything else. Any other games that caught your eye going into tomorrow? We know the Mavs are now laying a big number versus the Warriors. Pelicans are now a team that's rolling that looks like every other night they're going to give up 6.5 or 7 points. The Magic are now laying a big number to the Nets. That Pacers Bulls is interesting. They're giving up 4 points coming off a back-to-back. Any thoughts? If not, all good. We can get the recap and get out of here. Anything else pique your interest when you were looking at the board for tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. These were probably my two favorite games, but I do want, since you mentioned Pacers Bulls, watch out for the Pacers defense, man. Another really great game tonight. They absolutely locked up the Thunder. Thunder had like 26 points midway through the second quarter. I mean, who does that to the Oklahoma City Thunder at the house as well? So watch out for the Pacers. This team is coming. Obviously, they got one of the best offenses in the league, but when they're starting to lock down on defense, that's what makes me really like watch out for the freaking Pacers out here, man. They got 2 defensive stoppers in Andrew Nembhard and Aaron Nesmith as well. You got Siakam that's playing really great defense. They got TJ McConnell coming off the bench that's giving these guys a ton of energy. And the Bulls, they're a defensive team to me. Like I feel like I was just doing a show on my channel, and I was just saying that this might be a good under spot because the Bulls are obviously coming off a game where they got trounced. They got absolutely smoked versus the Mavs. I know that that's not going to sit right with them. This is a team that looks towards defense first, and with the Pacers coming in off a road home back-to-back, believe third game in 4 nights as well, but I know it's a back-to-back spot coming back to the house. I don't want to bet against the Pacers, but I know that their defense is playing really well, and I know if the Bulls are going to come in here pissed off, then they're going to bring the defense as well. So maybe under 233 is a really good look here. The market hasn't really caught up with they're starting to catch up because, well, what I'm saying is you'll see the lines open up and then you'll see them get steamed like down like 4 or 5 points to the under. You see what I'm saying? So you might not, this one might close at like 229. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if this line got steamed down lowered overnight. Bulls coming off a game where they gave up 127 points to the Dallas Mavs. They were down by 40 points at one point in that game. Just got absolutely smoked. I mean, they gave up 44 points in the first quarter. Some tells me that the Chicago Bulls, Sean, here come out with their hairs on fire, flying around on defense, and they're not the greatest offensive team as well, obviously. So I feel like the under might be a really great look there, other than trying to see who's going to win the game. Was there any other games that you were looking at, Sean?
I love that breakdown of the Indiana Pacers because even going back to all the way when we were at the in-season tournament, me and Jay Money were there live in Vegas, we chatted about, well, it looks pretty clear to me when Indiana wants to actually lock in and play D, they can. It's just something they're not really interested in at the moment. Then you add Siakam and the gang, and then they've shown a lot of flashes where once they're interested and want to play D, they can play a little D. The only other game that jumped out to me, Jay Money, was the Dallas Mavericks. Now, they're so hot and cold, and they continue to lay big numbers against teams that seems like they shouldn't be laying a big number. But I feel like the Warriors story here is really running out of gas, and it's running out of gas quickly. We had a little window where Steph Curry was playing out of his mind. That was keeping them afloat. The only reason we're not talking about this team not even making the play is because everybody else outside of that first 10 teams in the West is brutal.
Right.
Houston's not going to catch those boys to catch the 10. So they're almost in this area where they're safe and they're not going to be able to move up. I think the number out there right now for the Warriors not to make the playoffs is something like minus 140, something minus 150. Maybe if you're interested in laying that juice, I think the Golden State Warriors story is very much over as we come down the stretch here at the last like 18, 19 games of the NBA regular season. I couldn't get to the window on Dallas minus 7.5, but I'm going to be looking to fade the Golden State Warriors here coming down the stretch, and I may even print a minus 150 on them, not minus 140. Hopefully, I can find something like that for them not to make the playoffs, because if they have to play 2 games on the road in the play-in situation, being the 10, and then if they get that win, they have to go on the road and play the loser of the 7-8. That's going to be either Dallas, Phoenix, or Sacramento. I think Sacramento would welcome seeing the Golden State Warriors after they had that little playoff experience against those boys now. So that's what I'm looking at. But no official plays, but I was looking at the Dallas Mavericks as well. But to recap,
No, Sean.
yeah,
I
talk to
want
me.
to come on now. I gotta say something. Well, you never you never underestimate the heart of a champion. And so I did bet the Warriors to make the playoffs when they were surging. I am starting to rethink that. Obviously, Steph getting hurt doesn't help, and that's the only thing about betting futures.
Yeah.
Like one injury, especially the best player, one of the best players in the league, like they can change everything. So I'm even starting to think like, damn, the Warriors might be in, because I thought that they were gonna move their way up like all the way to maybe even 7, 6, or 7. I thought that they could really do it, and it's still not impossible with how much games are left. They're still only 3.5 games back of the 7th seed as well, and 4.5 game backs of the 6th seed. So you never know what could
that's
happen.
too many, though. You know that's too many.
It's
though,
not
Jay.
too many. It's
They're
not too many.
catching
All
those
it takes,
boys.
I mean, it's not too many for the simple fact that if they beat the Mavericks in this game outright, they move up one whole game. You hand the Mavs a loss, and then you hand you get a win. So it's not impossible. Steph is close to coming back. He's not going to be playing in this game. I believe. I just want to start with that. That never underestimate the heart of a champion, because these guys are going to go down swinging. I'm telling you that right now. They're not going out easily. So I'm never really counting the Warriors out. I will admit that my ticket for them to make the playoffs, which was at plus money, it's not looking so good right now. Obviously, I could hedge that and take them to miss the playoffs, or just bet against them in the play-in tournament. But as far as this specific game in this one, this is that spot that we were just talking about. I know it wasn't a huge long trip, but the Mavs coming off a little 2-game road trip in this one. They're not the greatest defensive team as well. They're really great offensive team, but I'm telling you right now, I'm putting Luka in the pick and roll every single time, and I'm living with the results, my guys. And I know Chris Paul is smart enough to do that. They're getting 7.5 here. I feel like it's a few too many points with laying 7.5 versus the much better defensive team. I know that Steph is out, but this is a major spot for the Warriors if they wanted to even sniff getting out of the play-in tournament. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they shocked the world and showed, because remember, Dallas can have these type of games. They lost by 17 to the Pacers at the house. They lost to the Philadelphia 76ers by 4 points at the house as well, man. So we've seen this team slip up, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did it here, but I am starting to get worried about the Warriors, but this is a major game for them.
Yeah, no question. The 2 games against San Antonio weren't encouraging, to say the least. But yeah, it is a big lofty number. That's why I did stay away from the Mavs laying the big number in 7.5. But like, I agree with Jay. I'm worried, and that's what I laid out about the Warriors. It might be time to print that ticket for them not to make the playoffs, at least on my end. All right, to recap, J Money is money. Lakers full game -1. I am on the Heat first half +2 versus the Denver Nuggets. That's what we're doing on the Wednesday best bet edition of Buckets. For J Money is money, I am your host, Sean Little. Hey, man, if you want to see J Money's glasses, go watch the YouTube page. Go watch it on YouTube, youtube.com/Action Network. Go subscribe to the J Money is Money NBA Talk with Jay on the daily as well. As I said, for J Money is money, I'm your host, Sean Little. We are presented by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Until next time, we'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Get buckets, baby.